welcome back to Surviving and Thriving the Black Experience, a space where we honor stories, wisdom, and the truth of our lived journeys. Today, we're joined by Quincy. Hi, Quincy,
Hi, how you doing?
who has committed his life's work to shaping futures and nurturing hope. He stands at the intersection of education, therapy, and fatherhood. He is a Black man working within therapeutic education, specializing in supporting children with disabilities, particularly autism. Quincy attended Savannah State University, the oldest HBCU in the state of Georgia, and is a member of the I got it, Tau Beta Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. They service the Savannah and Statesboro area with two undergrad chapters at Gamma Zeta at Savannah State and Pyro at Georgia Southern. As a registered behavioral technician, he walks with children through the challenges of the ABA therapy, not only guiding them but also learning from their resilience. Beyond his professional role, he carries the profound responsibility of the joy of fatherhood, raising a daughter who is his pride and joy and his purpose. Today, we dive into his story, his career, his identity, and his reflection on manhood and what it means to be a Black father navigating in this world. So, this is not just a conversation and regular smuggler stuff. We're going to get deep tonight. And it's to unveil legacy, responsibility, as well as strength. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Hi, Quincy.
Hey, thank you for the introduction. It's sends goosebumps.
Not the goosebumps. Well, I'm so happy and I appreciate you coming on Surviving and Thriving. I'm just so
Good to be
happy
here.
that you're here to be able to go into these questions and things as such and be able to discuss your truth. Like, I'm so happy. So I appreciate you accepting this because so often, and I also have had previous guests ask me and said, hey, like you go through all these great things. This is all wonderful, but you have not had a man come on here one time. Like, what are the men's perspective of these things? And I'm like, Quincy. I'll say Quincy's gonna tell it like it is, okay? So, audience, I need y'all to go ahead and make sure y'all get y'all pen and paper ready because like I said, we're gonna dive into this and we're gonna build your capacity, and it's gonna be a space for truth, honest dialogue. So, let's go ahead and get into it. So, Quincy, let's talk about your career. Let's talk about that. So, what drew you into the field of educational therapy as an RBT? And can you kind of explain what that is to our audience?
So, well, that was a two-part question. So, what drew me in the field of education? I always wanted to help people and help kids, whatever. You know how a lot of us Black people, we might grow up in less ideal situations. And when you grow up in those situations, there's a lot of you don't necessarily see those supports from different people. So my teachers, I always was able to go to them and talk to them. So I felt like as I wanted to be a teacher so I can help other people because I feel like that will be the first person that you will be able to see. Or that's what made me want to go into education. They'll be the first person that you see, and that they see you every day, and they'll be able to like notice if anything is going on with you, and be the first like your first door to like get some kind of support. So in essence, I want to be a counselor,
Okay.
but no one in my day and age, no one went to the counselor.
Okay.
So the ideal is as a teacher or in the classroom setting, you are more likely to go to your teacher before you go to a counselor. And a teacher is more likely to see if something's going on with you personally rather than your counselor. So that's the ideal of what made me want to go in the education field.
Hmm.
Now, although I'm not a teacher,
Okay.
so like you said, I am an RBT. So what that is a registered behavior technician. So what I do, I use ABA therapy to help children with autism to regulate their behaviors, regulate their emotions, and just different things. So it's just ABA is applied behavior analysis. So applied behavior analysis is a science based therapy that's saying that every behavior has a antecedent behavior and consequence, and also have a function of that behavior. And if you understand the function as well as the antecedent and the consequences, then you can manipulate that behavior to however you want to. So that's the science behind the field. So that's what we do.
So I
We
kind of,
manipulate behavior. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I didn't mean, you go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
So we pretty much manipulate behaviors to what can what I want to. So I was wanting to say like to more acceptable behaviors, but it's not necessarily more acceptable. It's so that a person can live the most beneficial life and be more effective for them to live in a way that they can be as independent as possible and not necessarily rely on other people. So if you understand how to communicate your needs, then and be able to communicate with others out your needs, then you could potentially be able to do those things on your own and not necessarily have to rely on other people to help you.
Okay. I appreciate all that. So you were talking about an antecedent. I was thinking about like my experience in childcare, working
Mhm.
with children like from birth until school age when I was a previous director, and then when I previously had worked for Head Start programming, overseeing and supporting grants who did Head Start and PFAE. I remember us using like an ABC chart. And so those words came up in regards to that, kind of like what are the triggers, what are in fact causing the behavior and things as such, and just understanding like not to categorize that child as bad when you're not understanding what is it the environment, is it the communication that you're doing with the child, is there something going on at home? Like you really do have to see like what is triggering the behavior before you're just looking at just the behavior and identifying that child as whatever that behavior is. So I completely align with that. So I appreciate you explaining that and breaking that down. I'm just gonna tell my guests again. I mean, I'm gonna tell my audience again. Please get your pen and paper because you're gonna be having your capacity gain in this meeting. Okay. All right. So I should have probably asked this first. Tell me what kind of like feelings and thoughts brought you here to this actual channel as a whole.
Of course, I met you through another social media platform,
Hmm.
and you expressed how you was looking to like dive into these serious conversation about the Black experience, and so and when you first opened up and did your videos, I went into them and looked at some of them, and then I also like the things that you were discussing, like it resonated with me, just like with the colorism and stuff of that nature, and just understanding like how those things can be psychologically affect you. And because you use BF Skinner, which is BF Skinner is actually the father of ABA. So
Hmm.
when you was using those terms and was using how he conduct behavior experiments
Hmm.
and how it affect people, so the same way that it does with colorism and stuff of that nature, it gives um, those triggers, as you were saying earlier, when people make comments and stuff like that, it could be a potential trigger to cause a certain behavior. So those statements and those conversations that you were bringing up made me want to also be a part of this this network that I can be able to express, give a different point of view from my side of the story as well. So I appreciate what you're doing, and I just felt like I want to be a part of it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you being a part of the community. I appreciate it so much. Trust me, I had to do a lot of research because I didn't want to sit here and just make sure. I didn't want to be a person that's just gonna just state what I think, what I think, what I think. I wanted to state things that I researched so that I knew. I wanted to learn and understand what is in certain concepts with the colorism aspect, as well as the angry woman trope. That's what I was talking about too, and with the stimuli. So just kind of realizing that like if the stimuli is always in fact happening, then like pretty much what is the expectation? What are you expecting to happen with this person? And just not understanding that the neurons are connecting in regards to the stimuli, what continues to keep on happening. And so I definitely appreciate you also understanding exactly what I meant when I was just trying to draw the picture and just make the connection in case people didn't understand. So thank you for letting me know that you truly understood exactly what I was trying to say then.
That's
Um, so I know this kind of was answered a little bit, but I'm gonna try to see. What did your own school experience teach you about the kind of professional that you wanted to be? I know you said that typically in regards to like a counselor, and a teacher, you kind of were like kind of on the spectrum from both, but like who do people typically go to first? It is their teacher, that person that sees them all the time, that kind of knows them in the right spaces, right? That takes the time to
mm.
get to know them inside and out and wants to know their feelings and wants to talk to them and stuff. So, like, what experience did you have that made you want to directly go into your profession?
So that was the reason why I wanted to be a teacher. That's why I went to school to be a teacher. But actually, a friend of mine, a church member,
Mhm.
she started a camp. It's called Friends, finding resources in educational and developmental needs and services. So it's an acronym. So Friends, she's found this company called Friends, and it was the company was set up to because her nephew had autism.
Mhm.
So she wanted a place for her nephew to be able to go to a summer camp that her nephew can go to. That because a lot of kids with autism and things of that nature and all other developmental disabilities are always kicked out of those summer programs. They're
Yes.
kicked out because of behavior, their aggressions, and stuff of that nature. So there's no place for these kids to go during the summer.
Hmm.
So she started this organization to try to help those parents and those kids, give them a place to belong. And not only just having kids with autism and stuff like that, but also having kids that were neurotypical, which is just people that didn't have any developmental disabilities. So she also had those kids there too, so they can pick up those behaviors as well, and so they can have something to compare it to. So you're not just excluding them or secluding them to one type of behavior, but you get to see a variety of things. So this church member, she invited me to her camp. She asked me, we started at a church because we started the camp at a church,
Hmm.
and she needed help, and I volunteered. I volunteered 1 year, and then I became like a co-teacher. Then I became a lead teacher, and then she brought this RBT thing.
Hmm.
She taught us, trained us, and gave us the certification. Well, walked us through the certification process. I'm
Hmm.
becoming certified in the field. So that's Miranda Porter. I love her. She's one of my good friends. I just want to give her blessings and
Thank
flowers
you.
because without her, I would not be in this field. So I do greatly appreciate her for all the work that she put in the community here in Savannah, Georgia, the Rinkin area, Richmond Hill. She's a great person. So, but she taught me this years ago, and I was doing other things, of course, because this was like a summer job initially,
Hmm.
and I was doing other things in my life, but something just kept bringing me back to because I always wanted to work with kids.
Hmm.
So when opportunity presented itself, right before COVID, I was working inside the school system. I was working as a para, and I was working in the school system, and then COVID happened. So I'm like, left the school system. They put me in a classroom that I didn't necessarily want to be in, and I preferred the older kids, and they put me in kindergarten, which I have no problem with kindergarten. I love kids, but I I was in a so I went from an inclusion class to a which is an inclusion class just have special needs children as well as children with special needs as well as typical children.
Hmm.
But also, so I was put in that classroom. Then I got switched to kindergarten,
Hmm.
fifth grade to kindergarten. Big difference. So
Hmm.
it was just super needy, and I mean, you there's videos of me dancing and hopping around the classroom because I mean, of course, I'm giving my all my energy because I want them to show that I do love my job and I do love the kids, but overall, it's just not where I want to be in
Hmm.
that sense. So it brought me back to ABA. So when
Okay.
I went back to the ABA and got into the clinic setting, and I just haven't left. I've been
Okay.
here since 2019 and haven't left.
Well, I must say you are truly a blessing. I mean, and you're clearly very flexible, and I know you're a blessing to those children as well too. I hope I can find that video of you hopping and jumping around with the kids because I know they had an amazing, amazing time. Let's see. So, what's the most rewarding part of working with children with autism and disabilities for you?
So it's the success stories. Um, One of my clients that I currently working with, their teacher was like, I don't know who's his RBT. She sent a message to the mom, like, I don't know who is RBT, but I can see that your child is working through their emotions, and I can tell that it's working. So I just appreciate you and whatever you're doing. I just appreciate what you're doing because he's able to work through his emotions. He's not getting as upset. He's able to communicate what he's feeling and stuff like that. So just comments like that, and granted, he has a he's a super smart kid and he still has a long way to go, but the pro seeing the progress from day one to like a different day, and it's just seeing that progress is I love it. I love the success stories. I love the communication with the parents, with the teachers, and just how they can tell me how they see the improvement, how they child just the other day I got a text message from one of the parents like, "My son pooped on the potty,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, we think of it as something that's so basic. It's
Mm-hmm.
a basic, need and something that we all do, but some people don't know necessarily how to poop on the potty. They might
Yep.
have some kind of aversion towards the potty where they don't understand what to do. So
Mm-hmm.
it can build up a resistance. So when as a RBT, we're building up we I can help him overcome that and be able to use the body
Mm-hmm.
and get out of diapers and stuff like that. So when
Mm-hmm.
mom was able to tell me that, I'm like, I'm jumping around in the house. Because if it was a video, it would have been one of me doing that
Yeah.
because I was just so excited to just hear that he went on his own. It wasn't no one made him go because like this kid, if you try to tell him go sit on the potty or ask him if you have to go by, he will start crying.
Mm-hmm.
That's how aversive this was to use the potty and poop on the potty. But he came in the house. He said, "Mommy, I gotta go potty." Sat on the toilet and poop
Mm-hmm.
all on his own. And
That's how.
that's like a great story. Like it's like we take it for granted. But I mean, I was so happy, so proud of this kid. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the things that like just make me so happy in this job.
And that's beautiful. I know working in childcare, being a previous director as well too, as well as being a teacher, I've been able to myself be able to be a part of those memories with parents, especially parents of children who have disabilities because their developmental milestones are different. And so just having that just knowledge and that just joy and compassion for a child learning to go to the bathroom because typically, like, yes, we stereotypically we want children to be potty trained. Well, some parents be trying to want have their babies potty trained at 15 months. It's the craziest thing. But like they want their babies, in fact, potty trained by a certain month because that's what stereotypically happens, like in a family or within a culture or something like that. But just sitting here understanding that potty training is a developmental thing, it's also a comfort thing. And so just I see the joy in your face, and I've been able to be a part of those joys as well too with parents of when their children get to have these moments. Because in the case that I've had, those parents haven't been able to experience themselves. They've only been able to get like a picture, of course, not of them going potty, but like a picture of with them smiling or something with a sticker saying, "Hey, they went potty for the first time today." Or something like that, or they communicated that they had to go, and even the attempt to go is celebrated. So, I that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. We talked about, of course, the most rewarding aspects of your job. Tell me about like a challenge that you face that people don't typically realize.
Well, so I will tell you about this one time where, as a man, as a black male, we we sometimes come off aggressive,
Okay.
and so it's like I was being stern with one of my clients, and then the parent felt as if I was upset, and I had to like she kind of canceled service for the rest of that day because she felt like it was bothering me because he was having the behavior. And so I didn't know that was the reason why, but until the next time when she was trying to cancel it again.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was being stern, and I was like, it's not that I'm agitated or anything of that nature because I've been in a situation, and I had to explain to her, I've been in a situation where I'm within a behavior for over an hour or 2 hours within a behavior,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been okay. So the point that I'm being stern with him so he knows the difference when I'm playing and joking versus when I'm being serious. Because sometimes children don't understand the difference. They think it might be still playtime. So
Mm-hmm.
I changed my voice and changed my tone so that he can see that this is a serious moment. And I'm just giving those social cues that we sometimes we pick up and take for granted, but some children with autism and stuff, other developmental disabilities, might not understand those social cues. So I want to make sure uh, make I make them very vivid so they can see, okay, this is a change of tone, this is a change of demeanor, this is why, okay, this is going on. But I'm like, no, I'm not upset, I'm not frustrated. I promise you, this is very mild behavior compared to what I'm accustomed to. I've had aggressions. I had like people punching holes in walls and stuff like this. This is super mild behavior. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to feel like I'm agitated or anything like that. I was just being stern with him and not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But because I'm a male, it just come off a little more aggressive
Mm-hmm.
in the field. So like just having those conversations with those that's one of my struggles. Just have to change in my tone to make sure that I don't seem too aggressive or seem too threatening and
Mm-hmm.
or like frustrated when I could just be trying to work through a program.
Well, I appreciate you being vulnerable and saying and speaking your truth in regards to that because as you said, perception, right? The perception that you were angry, the perception that you were dysregulated in that situation, but you weren't. You were trying to teach the child a social cue, which means that if I keep talking in a very neutral tone, you're not going to understand when you've done something that needs to be addressed. I won't even necessarily say corrected, but we're going to say addressed. And I think that's very valiant of you to do that and also have that hard conversation with that mom because you could have easily said, okay, well, you want to keep being upset or one less child on my case, right? On my caseload. And you decided to have that conversation to maintain that relationship. So I think that's amazing. So
Mhm.
congratulations. I respect that. You kind of touched base about this a little bit, but can you go a little bit more in depth of like how you build trust with families? Because of course, everyone's child is their pride and joy, but of course, children who have autism, this is new for a lot of parents, especially with when mothers go, and I want to say this superficially, when mothers and fathers, of course, go to the hospital, to the clinic, and they're getting their babies checked out, of course, right? And then they have this healthy baby boy or this baby girl that's born, and then all of a sudden the babies don't start reaching these milestones that have arbitrarily been created. So, how do you build this relationship with these parents who kind of don't know where to turn?
I mean, honestly, just like with any relationship that you have to communicate. And I just try my best to communicate with the parents and let them know, even with the steps that I'm doing, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what the purpose of this, what I'm doing, and just communicating those things. So, like, if I'm look like I'm ignoring your child, Okay, I'm ignoring him. I'm not necessarily ignoring him. Sometimes I am. It's called plan ignoring. It's a program. It's a technique that we use called plan ignoring. I'm doing this intentionally because of his behavior. So I'm like, hey, I'm not reinforcing your behavior. I'm not going to give it any attention because this is not a behavior that I want to acknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are doing behaviors that are more acceptable, then yes, I will acknowledge those behaviors, and that's a technique. So I will explain to him, hey, I'm not ignoring him if we're just for the sake of ignoring him. Like I hear him crying and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the reason why I'm doing this and that and third. I'll give them just keep reassuring them what I am doing is part of the therapy. It's not just something that I'm just doing just to be mean or to be inconsiderate. So I keep that open lines of communication. Like that's one plan, ignoring is one technique. Another technique would be um, functional communication training.
Mm-hmm.
So like, hey, um, why are you crying? Like, okay, you're crying. Okay, let's see. Like, and why are you crying? Because I'm sad. Guess what? Let's communicate about that. That's fine. It's okay to be sad,
Mm-hmm.
and we have those conversations. And so I'm like telling you, like, it's okay to be sad. I get sad too sometimes. So it's not necessarily all because some parents want you like, why? Oh, he's just crying all day. Like he's sad and he's communicating that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's okay too. Like, just like if you're upset, somebody takes something that belongs to you, somebody take your toys, somebody, anything, you'll be upset. So that's a natural behavior for all human beings. That's a natural behavior. And then sometimes the communication just what's age appropriate versus autism.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is not autism. Some things are just age appropriate. He doesn't want to share. Children don't want to share at certain ages. They
Mm-hmm.
have to learn how to share. Him wanting to be coddled and children wants to be coddled. That's age appropriate sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to sometimes, okay, well look, he just hit you and now he wants to be coddled. We can't coddle him right now after he just hit you. We have to wait. I know, yes, like he's sad, he's upset, but guess what? That's you're reinforcing the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to stop in that moment and like, hey, I understand that you want to hold him right now, but could you give me 1 minute? Or I had another client. He saw his mom and runs out the room and go give her a hug. So I'm like, hey mom, can you not hug him right quick? I want to go back to the room so he can like communicate that he wants to leave. Because if he elopes inside the store and goes out into
Mm-hmm.
the road or something like that because he wants something, that's a danger. That's a safety issue. So like we have to communicate and like, hey, I want to go hug my mom. I want to go do these, and so have those communications so we can functional communication. That's the functional communication training. Like it's okay that you want to go hug your mom. That's not a problem. But we have
Mm-hmm.
to communicate that we can't just run out of our room because that's unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
So like stopping and talking to mom, I'm like, hey mom, I'm not trying to stop him from hugging you. I just want, can you just let him come back to the room right quick so I can have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with him, then we can get back to the hug. Like, because I understand, like, hey, we don't want to deprive him of any love or any attention when
Right.
it's appropriate. But
Right.
running out of the room is or running because although it's just a room, you're just in a building right now and it's in a safe environment. But like, what if you're outside the store? What if you're in the car and then they're on the other side of the street or something and just
Mm-hmm.
they just run and that's where it becomes unsafe. So we have to make sure that we're communicating those things and the reason why we do those things so that there's no feeling that he's been mean or
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I think a lot of people because ABA sometimes is not appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do not like ABA therapy because it comes off. Sometimes it can comes off mean if you are not doing it properly. That's why we have to communicate. We have to talk to people and we have to let them know, okay, this is the reason why we're doing this. This is the understanding. This is the science behind it. Because again, this is a science. It's not something that we come out of our head. It's science and it has to be evidence-based science. Evidence shows that this is what this will happen. So if we do it this way, evidence shows this what will happen. Now, every kid is different, so that's why it's a science, and we have to change.
Mm-hmm.
Once the evidence does not show what will happen there, we have to change the program. So it's just that communication.
Well, I appreciate that. It definitely sounds like quite a bit of it is in regards to building those relationships is also making sure you build the capacity to parent. It's also very much holding, it sounds like that it's very much holding the parent accountable in regards to also understanding the lessons that you're also trying to teach the child as well too, especially with that eloping. That eloping thing is huge for kids. And in regards to children who are, of course, on the spectrum and or children who are not, the eloping thing is huge. Like I know several teachers who've lost positions due to a child running out and them not knowing. Of course, thank God, in the situation that I know, the children were not hurt, but children are running out of the classroom as soon as they see their mom, or a child running on the playground by themselves, and the teacher trying to get account and things like that. Like I've seen it several times. So I appreciate you also respectfully holding parents accountable and also teaching them a lesson as well, while also teaching the child. But I will say
Yes,
that.
and
Uh,
I would say also because I mean,
mhm,
even when you are doing ABA therapy,
mhm.
insurance required parents to go through parent training as well.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
one of the plus with it because again, like you just said, it's not beneficial if everyone's not on the same page. Because then what's happening, like, yes, this child might improve in school, but when he's at home, he you don't see an improvement. So to you, it's not working.
Mhm,
But in school, we hitting all these milestones and stuff like that that he
mhm,
should be doing because we're working at a different stage. Like we're doing different things, so we have to be on the same page. If
mhm.
everyone's not on the same page, then it's not going to work.
I got you. I'm gonna say I appreciate how our conversation is going, but we are running out of time for this particular one. So I wanted to know if you would be willing to go ahead and continue this discussion.
Yes, of course.
Awesome, awesome. So from surviving and thriving the Black experience, we are gonna go ahead and do a part two, going more in depth in regards to Quincy and breaking down some more information. So everyone, please stay tuned. Make sure you keep those pen and piece of paper. All right. So I'll see everybody else later.